We believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that urges us to focus on how to think and not what to think. It invites us to practice this philosophy and apply it to our lives right now by living with principles. Our relationship with God is a personal one. We believe that God is all that there is. Every person, place, or thing is not only an expression of God, but God itself. God is the absolute presence that not only creates, but is itself all things. All the love, peace, and beauty is in each of us as the presence of God right now. I know this of you, too. You are just as divine because God is within you as well. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you because we believe in spiritual living.
Good morning, you beautiful godlings. My name is Reverend Dr. Liz, and I welcome you to our Sunday celebration right here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Beaumont, California. And wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are always welcome here, for all paths lead to just that one God. And so our December global theme is celebrating divine truth. And the message this morning is preparing the way. Now, what does that mean? Preparing the way for what? We are preparing the way for the Christ consciousness. So, what is the Christ consciousness? Richard Rohr, author of the book Universal Christ, explains that Christ is God. This Christ consciousness is that light, that God light that is in everything created. It is that universal Christ. It is that divine itself. So we are being asked to prepare the way for this Christ consciousness, for this light, through our spiritual practices. Now, some people attach the word Christ to Jesus, to the man Jesus, as if it were his last name. The author tells us that Christ is God and that Jesus is the historical, physical manifestation of that Christ in his time. It means that Jesus is not just man, he's not just God, but he is God and human together as one. And it is this unity of God and man in this man Jesus, making him Jesus Christ, Jesus the Christ, or Jesus the Christed one. But if we cannot put these two seeming opposites of God and man together in Jesus the Christ, and recognize that God is both universal and personal, then we usually cannot put these two together in ourselves or in the rest of the physical universe. And that is where people get stuck. And they just cannot remove that veil of separation. And I think this happens because when we think of God, we envision just how huge God is. If we look up at the night sky and we see the stars and the moon, we envision that God is larger than this, and that God is the galaxy. It is universal because God is infinite and infinity itself. And that's big. That is so massive. But when we think of ourselves, we envision ourselves as small in this container that we call the physical body. And our galaxy is our home. And our family and friends are those stars that orbit our galaxy. That is small compared to the vastness and the infinity of God. And that is why you cannot put these two seeming opposites of God and human together. And so the veil of separation comes up. Because our linear thinking mind just cannot comprehend the vastness of God and the smallness of man together as one. But here's a newsflash for you. The whole of the cosmos, the galaxy and the stars are all within you and within me. You see, it cannot be any other way, because God is in everything that it creates, meaning that if God is that light, that God light that is in everything created, then that light also contains everything that it creates. And that is why we are connected to everything. We are all one. There is no separation. There is no division. There is one world, one nation under God, indivisible. There is only one of us here. Take a breath. Breathe in that truth and let it sink in. God is the wholeness of the whole of creation, from the whole of the cosmos, the stars, the galaxies, to the rocks, the water, the plants, the organisms, the animals, and human beings. This is the incarnation of God in the visible world, and that inner light is that Christ consciousness. So how do we prepare the way for this Christ consciousness? Dr. Holmes tells us that we do this through our spiritual practices. He tells us that by doing our spiritual practices, we up-level our consciousness, meaning that we raise our consciousness to that level that is the Christ consciousness. So we therefore go from the smallness of the human self contained in the physical body, where we define our galaxy as our home, our personal environment, and our family and friends are the stars that orbit our galaxy, to the vastness, the bigness that contains the whole of the universe, galaxies and stars and beyond, making that veil finally be removed, finally dissolve. That becomes man as God, united together as one. Now that spiritual practice where we can access that vastness of who you truly are is the practice of meditation. It is the practice of contemplation and meditation that our consciousness expands. And when our consciousness expands, we become conscious of that inner light. This is the presence of God. This is the entire universe within you. This is the light of the Christ consciousness, the divine itself. And it is in this sacred and holy place that we hear the voice of God that is always guiding us. This is the power of our individual spiritual practice of contemplation and meditation. But when a group of people come together to participate in a collective meditation, they all come together with one accord, one thought that generates a greater power. And this is not because the creative principle responds to a number of people more than it does to one, but because the combined faith of the group reaches a much higher level of consciousness. Dr. Holmes explains that a collective meditation creates a field, meaning a synergy that can be used to change our consciousness and conditions. And from Living the Science of Mind, he tells us, quote, "There is no reason to doubt in the field of spiritual consciousness, a chain reaction could be created which would bless the world," end quote. So whether you participate in the collective morning meditation before our service begins, or when you participate in our annual World Peace Meditation, or in that 4 a.m. peace meditation ritual every December 31st, collectively, we enter into a consciousness of peace. And the idea is to find that inner peace before we can experience the outer peace. Because peace in your heart outpictures as peace in the world. So now we know that we prepare the heart of this holiday season by preparing the way for the Christ consciousness through our spiritual practices, particularly the practice of meditation. And especially now, while we are still coping with this pandemic, and that now we are sheltering in place again, we need to find that inner peace. And it can outpicture as the outer peace in the world. And through our meditation practice, individually or collectively, we create a field, a synergy that can change our consciousness and change our conditions as well as the conditions in the world, making it the way to Christ consciousness, and that is peace on earth goodwill to men, and joy to the world. And therein lies the path to God. And so now let us pray. In this sacred and holy place, as we go within, into that heart space, into that place of that indwelling spirit, we drop into that heart space, we quiet the mind. For in this heart space, in this sacred temple, we find that one power, that one presence, that one intelligence, that one activity that we call God, that is within me and within you. And as we go deeper, deeper into this sacred and holy place, we become conscious of that inner light. Oh, how bright that inner light is. And how good it feels right here, right now, to recognize that the vastness of God, the whole of the universe, is right there within you, right here, right now, sitting in your chair. Knowing that that Christ consciousness is masquerading as you in your physical form. And recognizing that we are huge, we are massive, we are greater and larger than this physical container that we are in. And when we recognize that Christ light, that beautiful Christ light, that is unconditional love, we know that it is this inner light that heals. It heals all our pain. It heals our challenges in our personal lives. And we allow that light to shine brighter and brighter. And we are immersed in it, and we send that light to our family and friends and send it out into the world. Let your light go around the world and let it touch our human family. Let it touch those that are in pain during this holiday season. And when your light touches their light, then a switch goes on and their light starts to shine until our earth is now lit up with the brilliance of that light that is creation itself. Oh, how good it feels to just embrace this, to know this, to think this, to feel this, to embody this, to embrace this, and to be this. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for our time together. I am so grateful for that spiritual sustenance that we were fed today, that will sustain us today and the days to come. And I speak and release my word into that universal law, the law that says, yes, it is done. And in sweet, sweet, sweet surrender, I just let it all go, and I let God. And together, let us anchor and affirm this prayer by saying, and so it is, and I let it be so. And I thank you for being here at our Sunday service. And if you want to be a part of our Sunday service, you can also visit us on our website and enter and go into the Zoom room and see our spiritual family. But for now, I bless you. Namaste.
Thank you for participating in our service. You can do online giving by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. You can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the bottom or the top of the screen. or you can mail your donation to Center for Spiritual Living, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. If you enjoyed this service and are watching on YouTube or Facebook, please like and share this video and add a comment on it. If you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little notification bell to be updated when we post new content. For those on Zoom, visit our Facebook page to comment and share to help spread this message.